Hey everyone, it's Undeniable Truth, and we are back for the third part of this tutorial series where we are going to go over the cards and how to read them. So let's take a look at one of the cards and try to explain what each figure means and how to read it. I'll jump around from card to card so that we can cover a lot of the symbols that we see here, but we'll start with, say, Sharpshooter. So at the very top of the card, of course, we have the name of the unit, in this case being the Sharpshooter. Then you have a giant red heart here with a number inside it. That represents that unit's health. So the Sharpshooter has 12 health. When this number is reduced to 0, this unit dies. Underneath that, you'll see a white box with a number in it. This represents this unit's move. It's how many spaces on the map that this target or this unit can move once per turn. And movement in this game is orthogonal only, which just means that units can only move up, down, left, or right. I say that because diagonal movements are technically 2 spaces, so it's a left or a right and an up or a down. Hopefully that makes sense. And underneath that, you'll have the 3 abilities that this unit has. Most times you read these right to left. So in this case, -2, notice that it's red. Hearts, so that would be you're taking 2 damage from another unit's heart count here. This damage is kept track of by these counters that we have on each side. You'll have your cards directly underneath them after you draft, and you'll plus or minus them to keep track of the health of each unit. So this one will have -2 hearts to that unit. All of these are just the names of the moves. So to the left of that, you'll see a single square. So this indicates that it targets a single enemy. Red means it's for an enemy. Blue, which let's see if we'll find it. Blue means it's for either an ally or yourself, like the unit casting it. And then white means it only affects the user. So in this case, we're looking at a single square, which just means a single enemy is targeted. The number in this column is indicative of the range the move has. So to read this from right to left here, this does 2 damage to a single enemy within 8 spaces of the caster. And right above it is the energy cost. So 1 red here means it costs 1 red energy. That's your blue energy. These are your yellow energy. And these are purple energy. So Quick Scope does 2 damage to a single unit within 8 spaces of the caster for 1 red. Survey, and then we have this symbol here. This means to flip the card. Whenever a move has this symbol there, once you use that move, it flips the unit over to their opposite side, where they have another set of abilities. And the red one means when you use it, you flip them back. Now I'll go into each individual character in their own video and give a breakdown of each character, but for now I'm just going to show you guys how to read the cards, and then we'll get more in depth later. So in this one, Survey, reading from right to left, it flips the unit over so that she has access to her other abilities. It only targets herself. That symbol also means self as far as range is concerned. For 1 blue energy, Shattering Shot is her first ultimate ability. It does 3 damage and removes all all shields from a target. Well, rather, it removes all shields from a target, then deals 3 damage to a single target within 6 spaces for a purple and a red. So that covers most of the things, most of the icons that you'll see. So if we move over to, say, the Bombardier, they have different figures here. So here we have a plus AoE, or area of effect. So this one reads that it does 3 damage to a plus AoE, so you would within 4 range. So this means within 4 range, your center square here is the target of your 4. So if you move, like say you're here, or you're here, you can shoot 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be the center of your plus, so you'll hit all 3, 4, and 5 spaces. And for 1 red. So that's 3 damage to the plus AoE within 4 spaces of the caster for 1 red. This one, and notice how this damage is in red because it indicates, similarly to here, if it's red, it affects the enemy. So it's -3 health of an enemy. This one is white because it's +1. This symbol is for attack ups, which we'll go over all of those things later on too. But this attack up will apply to itself only for a blue. 1 attack up on yourself for a blue. Catastrophe, it does 5 damage to this AoE, so it's the space and then every space within 2 of that space. And that centerpiece is your range of 5 for a cost of a purple and a red. Another symbol you will see, let's take a look at the paladin, are these shields. It's another component that's in the game, and we'll go over those as well. This one adds a shield to the character, does damage to an enemy. Only if you do the damage you get the shield. So to a single enemy, and it costs a red and a blue. This symbol, the single sword, means they can attack it's melee, so it attacks 1 space from the user, up, down, left, or right. This one, same as the other ones. Blue represents that he can either put these shields on himself or on an ally, because it's blue. So the target is blue. Anyone within 4 spaces. For 2 blues, it costs 2 blues to get 4 shields to any ally, including himself. And this is similar to the Bombardier's ult, where they can grant 3 shields to a space in any unit within 2 spaces of that, any ally within 2 spaces of that, at 4 range for a purple and a blue. A very interesting one would be the Warden, because they have a lot of different icons that represent different things. So this one's still your classic flip. When they use the move, they flip over to the other side. This means that, see, white equals self, so this unit pulls a unit 4 spaces away, orthogonally only, from the point that they're at, right next to him. So that's what this is representing, that we're moving the red from here to right next to them, based on how many spaces they pull them, and it costs a yellow. Single enemy is targeted 4 spaces away, up to 4 spaces away for a yellow, and it flips them. This icon here represents switching places, so yourself and an enemy. within 4 spaces gets switched places. And again, I'll go over each unit to explain exactly what each move does and how it's used in the game. But for now, I just want you to be able to see like common icons. Let's see, another common icon you'll see on, say, the assassin. So he has this icon here where the red unit with an X through it means that they ignore collision, so you can walk through units. You normally can't do that, even if they're your allies. You can't walk through units, but he has an ability that lets him do that for these 3 spaces. Now, again, also with the assassin, they have the cross swords for a range, which just means that they can hit any of the 8 squares that are around them. Let's see if I can show that real quick. So like say that they are here, they can target any of these spaces around the unit, including those diagonals. And with the assassin, they're unique in that depending on which of those squares they target determines the damage he deals. So if you're attacking in a diagonal, he gets 5 damage, whereas if you're attacking in an orthogonal, he only does 2 damage. The only other unit that has this sort of thing, that this sort of range, is the Valkyrie, and they aren't as complex as the assassin. It's just they can attack any unit within the 8 spaces around that center that they are. Let's see. I think that explains most of these. This here. On the Alchemist, they have this icon, which just means that it ignores shields. So this move does 2 damage to themselves that ignores shields, so you can't have like them shielded up from another unit, and then that eats this damage thing. That's the purpose of that. So they take 2 damage that ignores shields, and they get 2 attack ups. Or, so anytime you see that slash in there, it's going to be or. They can do this or this. This might be one of the only classes that has that though. So he can either take 2 damage to himself and give himself 2 attack ups, or he can heal himself for 3. This symbol here just means an energy of the user's choice. But we'll get into that once I do the breakdown for that particular class. Let's see. The Dragoon has 1. I guess the Assassin had it too. So this move reads as it does 2 damage, and the unit can move 2 spaces. That's what that foot symbol there next to the white letters, or the white number, means that they do damage to a unit, 2 damage, and then they can move 2 spaces. And the move it hits 1 target and has a range of 2, and then it flips them. Lastly, to highlight the Hydronaut. So this move reads that he can give any ally 3 additional move, including himself, that turn. It's the only class that can do that, but it reads 3 additional move to 1 ally within 4 range of himself. Whirlpool is similar to the Warden's capture, where he is pulling an ally to himself and healing them for 3. So how it's a +3 here is 3 health to that ally and pulling them towards him, so it kind of pulls them out of trouble. At a range of 5 orthogonal for a blue and a yellow. His ult does 2 damage to all enemies and heals the entire team for 2. And as you can see, I'm sure, when you hover a card, I have it written out to where it explains each of those moves in text, but it's helpful to know how to just read it at a glance, because you're not necessarily going to be trying to read the text every time you want to like do a move. It'll be useful to be able to at a glance get the shorthand for what your move does. And I think that about wraps up the tutorial on reading the cards. In the next video, we will cover the Guardians and their significance to the game. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.